It's Art Basel weekend here in Miami, and there are so many tourists in town. Folks today told us that they packed bikinis, sandals, flip-flops, but if you take a look around, everybody this weekend is bundled up. Take a look at our thermostat over here. It is 66 degrees on Lincoln Road, and people are cold. We're told that 2 ambulances were responding to an emergency situation, but en route, the 2 vehicles collided. Stranded and stuck, a major power outage causes numerous flights to be canceled into Atlanta, and passengers were told too late. Right, police say the gunman opened fire at 2 men that were exiting this residential building right behind me. Now the Red Cross is on scene here assisting those families that have been displaced. And the sound that you hear right now is something that students here will just have to get used to till June of 2020. That is when this playground is set to open. Miss Love is set to get tested to figure out whether her respiratory issues are related to the possible and potential asbestos exposure.
Wild weather leading to some serious flooding in East New York. Residents there say it's an ongoing problem, though, that is affecting where they park. News 12 Brooklyn's Jessica Madhukar has the latest there.
There's a huge gap here at Cozine Avenue and Cleveland Street, free and available for residents here to park, but they won't because of how flooded they say it gets when it rains. With a good amount of rainfall, any vehicle could get stuck. Cars driving by are even slightly swerving into the opposite traffic lanes to avoid the mess. Locals that live here tell me that they've just stopped parking on this street in general because of how inconvenient and dicey it can get during weather conditions.
What's happening is that the water is coming up to a level that's we can't even park here because we would get stuck, and then due to the weather conditions it gets icy, and then it causes conflict with your vehicles, so it's not a good place to be. And aside from driving, it's even more inconvenient to be walking along the sidewalk with the water levels being higher than an inch. If you do plan on stepping outside, you definitely want to be wearing rain boots. The entire patio of the Tatiana restaurant and nightclub on the Brighton Beach boardwalk completely torched. Chairs and tables flipped and melted, covered in shattered glass. Sunday evening, flames engulfed the bottom half of the 5-story building. Luckily, no residents were displaced or harmed.
I've seen quite a few occasions, something like that. Yeah.
Most of the locals stood in shock, but also not that surprised because this wasn't the boardwalk's first fire. This same area has dealt with 2 fires since 2003.
It's like someone's trying to burn out the whole neighborhood.
Muhammad Murad works as a cook at the Tatiana restaurant. He was getting ready to end his shift Sunday night, but little did he know it was far from over.
And we start to bring the water, the bucket, and with my crew, like dishwashers and other cooks.
By about 10 p.m., more than 100 firefighters were called to the scene to put out the blaze. Officials say that it was all sparked by a carelessly disposed cigarette that fell onto a mattress underneath the boardwalk. They believe it started a rubbish fire that made its way up toward the restaurant. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported, and residents from above have not been affected by the damages of this fire. In Brighton Beach, I'm Jessica Madhukar, News 12 Nightside. Witnesses telling us a 5-year-old boy and his mother were walking along this crosswalk at East 151st Street and Cedar Lane when a black SUV hit the boy. We're told the whole accident happened in between a McDonald's parking lot and construction site where pedestrians are constantly walking around. Along that road, there were signs warning drivers to yield to pedestrians. EMS trucks arrived at the scene where the boy was then taken on a stretcher with injuries. Witnesses say the mother of the child chased a car and banged on the window to get the driver to stop.
The lady was walking with her son, going into the school. The son was like a little behind her. The car came speeding and hit the kid. And then the lady went chasing the car, banging on the window, getting the car to stop to tell her that the kid was hit.
And so far, no arrests have been made. I'm at Concourse Village. Jessica Madhukar, News 12, The Bronx.
What some believed was impossible became possible.
Lillian Bonsignori has made history, taking over the FDNY's EMS department from retiring Chief James Booth. But she's not the only one making strides. Her assistant chief, Alvin Suriel, was appointed, making him the first Hispanic member in his position.
I have no doubt you will both continue to excel.
Ranked with 4 stars, Chief Bonsignori has served as Deputy Chief of the EMS for 28 years. Now she will supervise and oversee over 4,000 first responders.
I had no idea that I would be standing up here, surrounded by my friends and family, receiving the greatest honor of my life.
But it wasn't really her intention to be a first responder. Lillian had plans to go to medical school, but took on the EMT position as a temporary summer job.
I am only one woman accepting this position, but it was through the efforts and examples of many strong women along my path that made this possible for me.
One of those women being her wife.
She's compassionate.
A unique leadership trait that she believes has led her wife to receive this high-ranked promotion.
Today, I proudly become somebody else's possibility.
In Fort Greene, Jessica Madhukar, News 12 Nightside.